Welcome to this quick tutorial. My name is Mark Sally and I'm a developer with Freedom IT Solutions. I'm here today to demonstrate one of our latest products, a hospital management system. And in the description below, I've provided a Google Docs link to the file with the logins just in case you want to follow along. Let's log in and get started. Now, what you are seeing is a hospital system. However much it may seem like it has a lot, but when we were developing this, we tried to look at all possible scenarios of all the needs a hospital will have. However much it may have things specific hospitals may not need, like let me say managing blood banks, managing ambulances, insurance, inventory, all those things, vaccination. Specific hospitals may not need all that, but we developed it in a way that we can easily dial it down. We can move this feature here because there are different types of users. Some may be seeing things that they don't need to see. We just left it open. So this is supposed to be like a template because operations of hospitals are different. So we made it in a way that depending on the specific need cases of a specific hospital, we can easily customize this to the specific needs of that hospital. Now let's get started. The first thing you will see are the users, of course. You can right now we do not really have a lot of data, but when you're testing out the system, you can add data. It would work very well. You can add your own users. We have the accountants, we have the nurses, we have the receptionists, we have the lab technicians, and we have the pharmacists. However much, we have the super admin also, so that makes it 6 users, and we have doctors also, that makes it 7, and we also have specific users called case managers. You will see those shortly. Now, in the ideal situation, because right now we are in a super admin panel because it's supposed to have everything, but you could log in as a doctor or log in as a receptionist or log in as any of these users because they all have different things they see. So ideally, the patient comes to the receptionist, of course. Then if the patient is already in the database or if it's a new patient, you can come and create a patient here. The new patient, you take their information and stuff, a few information. Though of course, we could always customize this for you depending on the features you want. Then we left this specific feature called case because let's say a patient is going to come with a back problem and they need to come back. They're supposed to have an open case that you can follow along. Now, when a patient comes, you're supposed to assign a new case to them, right? Select a doctor, depending on what they tell you they're suffering with, select a doctor, and automatically doctors have come with their own charges. You get that the fees will come automatically. Then of course we have the case handlers, the people who are assigned to specific cases. Let's say the woman is pregnant. Admission is not for now, but we can go through the smart cards. Now, patients can ideally generate smart cards. Let me say if they want, someone has a room, it will have their own QR code and stuff. As you see, this is a template. They can always swipe and log and enter, or it will have a few information depending on what the hospital wants. But so ideally, when the patient comes, you create a case. Then after creating a case, you have to come and make an appointment to the doctor. Of course, you select the patient we just created. Then we select the department of the doctor. Right now, we only have one department. Depending on the department you select, that is a doctor that will come. We select this doctor, and you see his charge is 0.2. The charge comes automatically. There's a place to add the charge, but that comes in the payment method. Then right now we can't select today's date because this doctor works from 7 in the morning till 5 in the evening. So right now his working hours are done. So you can only select the next day. And when you do that, the slots available. Now there are things that we can change. Now this doctor only accepts 1 patient every hour, and you see the time he works, right? So we can select the slot, select the slot. Now there's this thing called the status. This, I want to show you what it does, but let me switch it off and a short description. And you save that. So I'm logged in as a doctor here. And when, this is dark mode. When I check my notification, this here an appointment has just been made 15 seconds ago. And when I check the appointment, so when I left the other tick off, That means we are giving the doctor words to call to confirm whether they want to go on with the appointment or cancel it. So I can cancel the appointment if, let me say something, but we put it on default that it's already confirmed, because we feel like doctors should not be given the freedom to cancel appointments if their working hours are predefined. Because when a doctor wants a break, let me just confirm this real quick. Okay, this is now confirmed, because when a doctor wants, that is, the appointment has been made. When a doctor, because we have now the doctor's schedule, how many patients he takes per hour, when he works and stuff. Of course, this is when we add doctors. You can add a new doctor. Then, of course, the doctors have departments. Right now, we only have one department. Then doctors have schedules. Then doctors also have holidays. Let's say he works Monday to Friday, but is not available on this day. So he can come, select the doctor, the dates, and the reason, and you give him a holiday. So when that day reaches, it automatically, people in the receptionist portal will not be able to see him as an available doctor. Then we have breaks. If the doctor works from 7 till 8, you can give him breaks during lunchtime. You can add breaks in the already predefined schedule, whether it's going to be every day and stuff, so that during those hours, people making appointments is automatically not available. Now, after the appointments have been made, the doctor would have to see the patient, of course. This is an appointment. Of course, when you click on the patient, you can see a little bit of information, the admissions, the cases, the bills, documents, vaccinations, and stuff. But when a patient comes, they're supposed to now determine whether it's supposed to be an IPD or OPD, outpatient or inpatient. Now, let's say it's an outpatient. You obviously have to add him in. Now, this is where you put the diagnosis, ideally. Okay, so this is where you put the diagnosis. Let me add one OPD patient. We select the patient. Of course, the case automatically comes according to the case that has, and the number, because you first gave him a case. Then, of course, the height. If I put 9, let me not, because 9 will not work. Let me put 10. Let me put 10. Appointment date, the doctor, Sally Mark, and the charge comes automatically. This person doesn't have a charge as per yet. Then the symptoms, then a few notes. Then we save. So this is freedom patient, and of course you see he's now an OPD patient. Now when I want to add, let me say, it tells me his problem. When I want to add diagnosis to him, because we have this specific field, you're going to see the diagnosis field, but you can't add a diagnosis from here. You have to specifically click on that OPD patient, and now you can add a diagnosis according to what you see, and the descriptions. So this information, whenever someone clicks on his account, they can always see the cases he has, because when someone clicks on a case, you can see the diagnosis, the doctors that handled this case and stuff. And when you see in diagnosis, it automatically comes. There now too. This has not trade, but now we have, of course, when, let me say, the person wants to do tests, but let's first leave that. We can do typhoid HIV test. Now that is the diagnosis part. Let's say it is simple, the problem, you know what it is, and you want to give him prescriptions, right? You can now come to the new prescription, select the patient, the doctor. Some of these things will be automatic. Insurance, no. Yes. Reference, no. So we have this feature. When you guys test it out, it won't be working because we disabled it, because every time we use it, we're supposed to pay. It's an AI model. Because you see, when I try to suggest it now, nothing happens. They tell me to fill in a few information. Food allergies, no. Now, this helps you suggest medicine. It does not tell you what to get. It just helps give you an idea according to the parameters you have given here, whether he had surgery, whether they have diabetes, depending on the medicine that is also available. You see, at the moment right now, we only have paracetamol, you can choose the dosage, you see the available quantity, how many times a day, and stuff. Then you can further make suggestions for the medicines, and they give you the AI model gives you ideas of what you should give the patient. If not, you can just add new medication as a prescription. But let's say he had to go and do tests. We also have now doctors, because when you go to the doctor's panel, they cannot see some of these things. Prescriptions, of course, they have the diagnosis tests and stuff. But now some of these things, because as I was explaining, this panel was when we're making this system, we left it open. So depending on, because hospitals are a bit different, some people may want, let me say, the lab technicians to have control over certain things. Some hospitals may not want. So when you look at the doctor's panel, you may see features that in your specific hospital you will not want to be there. So that is a simple thing. You talk to us and we help you change that. So we're still at the pathology tests, their categories, of course, the units, parameters, and the tests. Same thing with radiology. Now that is the test. I think that is now after there is now the billing. Of course, the accountant also has their own portal. Because if you want to test any of these things, what you should know, because some of all these things, all the logins to this specific account, because there is the accountants, there's the nurses, the receptionists, and the lab technicians, and the pharmacists, the people who manage specific things, all the logins have been provided, so you can just log in. Right now, I'm just showing you the whole admin panel so that you have a good idea. This just has everything because it's supposed to be like the super admin. Now, I think that is it. The patient pays and the billings are automatically shown, what has been paid. You can, of course, print out reports. This is just downloading, but because I have this. But this is an example of a report of a test, right? Because let me go to somewhere where it doesn't have this. Okay, this is now an example. This should just open. You can print out any of these things so that it doesn't download. Just that I have an extension that automatically downloads these things. So this is the test they carried out. Okay, so right now we're on billings. Now, of course, this is billings. You can manage your employees' payrolls and stuff, their payments, the advance payments, the manual billings and stuff. If just in case, of course, this may be a lot, right? But as I said, we can reduce down this system to your specific needs. Now, of course, now let's say that the patient has to be admitted. Patients have patient admissions. New patient admission, of course. Select the patient. Let's say you have to, because when the patient is admitted, you now have insurance and stuff. You now have to give him a bed. This is now where bed management comes in and stuff. Let's not do that. Now we have this specific section for bed management. So this is, I think, depending on the hospital, you're supposed to categorize your beds into bed types. You can say main building has level 1 as a bed type. Now when you are adding a new bed, you can say this bed is called E2, and that bed is in the main building and the level 1, and it's called E2. So this and then you add the charge of the bed and the descriptions, and you save, of course, and the bed automatically comes. Now here you can assign a bed, same thing that was in admissions, but of course it's supposed to first be an IPD patient. So here you can not select a patient, it has to be a case that has been entered. So before a patient is made an IPD or OPD, he's supposed to have a case that is assigned to them, because as you see here, we have Sally Ronald, not an IPD patient, so you can't add him. Same thing here, so there's no case for this patient, so you can't assign a bed to them. It's supposed to be an IPD patient. But of course, right now you can see, remember we signed a bed before, the time I think is stamped. Now these are beds that have been taken. These are beds you can quickly assign if you click on it. That is bed management. Now, of course, you have the blood banks. Of course, blood has types, so you can add the blood groups, the new blood groups. Then we can now add the blood donors, new blood donors, the age and stuff, what blood they're donating. Then the blood donations that they have given, how many bags they have given, and we can now manage the blood that has issues. So the people in, let me say that the labs can automatically issue the point the blood that has issues and the blood that has been used and the blood that is remaining. Then of course we have the doctors already, so that the schedules, you have the prescriptions already, so that you can print out your prescriptions. Then we have the diagnosis test, the categories, then inquiries. Because now this system has features that are supposed to be coming. Right now we are working on mobile applications. Ideally, patients are supposed to have their applications where they can check their prescriptions, they can make inquiries. It sends them reminders of when they can come and pick their prescriptions, or maybe they can give locations and the prescriptions are brought to them automatically and they pay, things like that. Because this was supposed to help certain types of patients, HIV patients to be exact. But it could help everyone. Then we have the finance field, the expenses, the incomes, front desk system, and of course you have the hospital charges. So this is where each OPD doctor has a charge, and there's charge categories. You add some of the charges here. Then we have the IPD, OPD, we already saw that. Then remember to add diagnosis. You click on the OPD or IPD number of the patient. That is when you can now add a diagnosis and add a revisit or something when they're supposed to come back. Then of course we have the inventory. Inventory obviously has category first. Then you can add the inventory item, the units that you have, the name and the category. Then this is now where you're supposed to list how many of those items you have in stock and which item has now been issued. Because right now when you go to issue new item, it selects the user, that is a doctor is taking this item, which doctor, this doctor, issued by, issued date, return date, and item category, and the units and the descriptions. Because when you see here in this field, you can add the information, it will work just like this. This is just an empty database. You can add the information and see everything will work. So it has the item, the category, the issue date, the return date. So if this date passes, it automatically gives you notifications and stuff. Then of course we have the live consultations. Patients in their panels can request for live consultations. Of course you have the medications. Now when you see all this, let me say like medicine category, adding medicines, lab, let me say the pharmacist will not be able to see. Let's actually log in as a pharmacist real quick, so that is what I'm trying to say. Pharmacist. Okay, here we go. You could log in any way. All you should know is the password is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. That's simple. So you can just get the email and log in automatically. Good thing automatically takes us to our medicines. Now you see the pharmacist can only see specific fields. You see, for them, they can only see the prescriptions and the medicine. Probably they won't even be able to see the payrolls, but they should be able to see the pathology tests and stuff. Because you see, what I was trying to illustrate is, now you see, he can only see the pathology tests. But in my panel, when I go to pathology, I can add the pathology category, I can add the stuff and stuff. So even here, we can decide on the medicines that you should not actually be able to add medicine, but I feel like that is his job, that is why we left that. So specific users will not be able to add, now like radiology. In my super admin panel, under radiology, I can add radiology tests, I can add categories and stuff. Him, he can't, so that is the whole point. So on radiology, then of course we have services. You can predetermine the insurance packages. Even if you don't, you can leave this, the packages, the services you offer. Maybe now we have this, a lot of people may not need this, but we let it be there, you can add a new ambulance. So ambulance calls is supposed to be on the patient panel on the mobile application we're developing. Patients can decide to call for ambulances if they have specific insurance packages, right? So you can see the ambulances that have been called. So, but of course, if you add a new ambulance here, even if you just want to manage your vehicles, you can add one, and you see, can just help the vehicles you have, what is out in the fields. Ambulance calls can just be what is out in the fields, even if the patient has not specifically called it. Then of course we have the transactions and the vaccinations, vaccinated patients and the vaccinations. So this is a panel that has everything we do, of course. Maybe the feature we will not be able to use is adding prescriptions, and the AI model suggests for you the prescriptions. You will not be able to use that. But you can log in as any and check out the system. Thank you for, being here till the end. And just in case you have any inquiries, you can contact us at freedomit.ug.tech, info@freedomit.ug.tech, or our individual emails, salimac7@gmail.com or kanyinya@gmail.com.